You are looking at a lifelong people pleaser, and I am going to explain to you a little bit about how this really impacted my business and my burnout, some things that I learned from it, and hopefully this will help you move through your own people pleasing tendencies. My name's Gabrielle. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and I sold my group practice in 2021 because of my burnout. So, how did my people pleasing impact my business? I never really thought that it was a big deal, and I just kind of thought it was a personality trait of mine until really in 2021 when I started struggling a lot with setting boundaries and just feeling, like I said, really burnt out and overwhelmed. And a couple examples of that are my staff was based in Colorado and I had actually moved to Florida. So they were 2 hours behind me. And because of that, and because I wanted to be a good boss, I would answer their calls and texts until like 9 o'clock my time. I literally remember sitting on the beach, watching the sunset at 8:30 at night, doing supervision with one of my therapists over the phone. And I just kind of thought that's part of being an entrepreneur. That's part of being the boss. That's what I need to do. And it turns out you don't need to do that. So I started getting really overwhelmed, I guess, and feeling resentful towards them for that. And I was placing the blame on them. Like, they're the ones contacting me after hours. They're the ones bringing me these problems. And really, what I needed to learn, which I know now, is that it was a me problem. I was the one allowing it to happen. I was the one who was not setting the boundary. What helped me realize that was therapy and also paying attention to how I was feeling, that I was resentful, I was feeling frustrated with my staff, and I noticed that it was bleeding into my personal life, right? Obviously, because I was working at 9 o'clock at night. And so what I ended up doing was setting a very clear boundary with my staff. And I told them, you can't contact me after business hours. We work in private practice. There is very, very rarely an emergency where somebody needs to call me at 9 o'clock at night. And I asked them to send me an email because I'm not checking my email late at night. And if it was a true emergency, that they could call me. So I set the boundary of my business hours and what I expected as far as communication from them. And I was telling this story to one of my consulting clients the other day, and she said, were they mad at you? Did they get upset that you did that? The answer is no. Actually, the exact opposite happened. They respected me, and they also respected the boundary. Nobody was calling me late at night. If they had questions over the weekend, they would wait until Monday and send me an email. So again, that's just one little example, but it had such a big impact on my own well-being and how I was feeling about being a business owner. And by setting that boundary, I was also modeling good self-care and modeling how to be a good leader. I hope that helps.